Good morning. Welcome to my Wednesday devotional. We are still on Esther, but we've moved to chapter 5, and we're getting to more my favorite part, actually, the most critical part of this whole thing. One of the reasons why I like doing this this particular study. But first, a little bit of housekeeping notes. Next week is Thanksgiving week, and we're going to be out of town. So I will not be doing a Esther video, but I'll be back the following week. So I'm really excited, and our son is going to be in town, and the four of us are going to drive to my parents' house. So if the weather's good, if the weather holds, we tried this last year and made it cancel. So praying that that the weather holds and we'll be able to go. So, and I hope that your Thanksgiving plans also go well. I know it's a very tough time, a lot of travel, a lot of stuff going on, so kind of a difficult time. But anyway, so this is great timing, and I'm really glad that, thank you so much for watching my Esther videos, because really, at first I was like, man, I don't know if this is going to work, but with everything going on in the Mideast right now, this is a really good time to be studying Esther and how she saves the Jews. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I just wanted to get that out of the way and said, so don't forget. And all right, so we're going to cover Esther this week. All right, so last week we just opened with Esther verse 5 and verses 1 and 2, just to catch up. On the third day of the fast, Esther put on her royal robes and entered the inner court of the palace, just across from the king's hall. The king was sitting on his royal throne facing the entrance. When he saw Queen Esther standing there in the inner court, he welcomed her and held out the gold scepter to her. So Esther approached and touched the end of the scepter. Okay, and as you recall, that's very important, because that's why she took 3 days to fast and pray, and we're assuming she prays, to just probably think about, how she's going to handle all this, how she's going to be composed, and what wisdom, she was only 18, what wisdom she had to wait 3 days. I mean, I myself have learned a lot about that, because I used to just pop off an answer or response or whatever and be very emotional. But I've learned in my later years, recent years, I should say, especially from this line where she waits 3 days and before making a major decision. And I think taking time out, even if it's just a few hours to decide, is good. It's good to be thoughtful and about your decisions. So that was last week. So, ta-da, we're rolling to my favorite line, verse 4. Okay, so now verses 3 through 5. Okay. Then the king asked her, "What do you want, Queen Esther? What is your request? I will give it to you, even if it's half the kingdom." Now, he's always generous, right? Half the kingdom, do this, do that, very dramatic and interesting. I think this king is kind of interesting. Okay, verse 4, my favorite line. And Esther replied, now this is the big pivotal moment, "If it pleases the king, let the king and Haman come today to a banquet I have prepared for the king." So she kind of boxed him in there, but all right, we'll go over it. Verse 5. The king turned to his attendants and said, "Tell Haman to come quickly to a banquet, as Esther has requested." So the king and Haman went to Esther's banquet. All right, so my favorite part. Now, another translation, it says pleases, and that's kind of like the American verse. So I don't know why NLT, you never know. With these translations, the grammar always feels like it's off or something like that. But anyway, so we'll just say for our purposes, if it pleases the king, let the king and Haman come to. Okay, so if it pleases the king, now you're going to see this again as we roll forward. I don't want to spoil it, but I don't know why, but a couple years ago when I was doing this class, excuse me, before, if it pleases the king. Would you ever hear someone in 2023, at least in America anyway, a woman say, to be humble and really, be gracious and say, if it pleases the king, in a very obedient, honest, genuine way? Probably not. Some people might do it in a phoniness type of thing, but we know that it's not phony. We know it's genuine. She took 3 days to really put her thoughts together, pull herself together, and probably have to work her inner gut, right? Because she's having to take a lot of courage, And here he was just being absolutely generous of, I'll give you whatever you want, even if it's half the kingdom. It's like, wow. What if he hadn't said that? Remember, she'd said she hadn't seen him in 30 days. He had not called her, and she, of course, would not dare to go to him because it was against the law, as she had previously explained. So she has to wait on him, and he hadn't called her in like 30 days. So this was really a tough time. So the fact that he mentioned it, hey, I'll give you half the kingdom, that probably gave her the courage that she needed to hear. To be like, if it pleases the king, I think she maybe was looking for a reaction, because she's in front of him, she can see his face. And so as soon as she said, if it pleases the king, I'm imagining that she's bowing her head, and he probably got a big smile on his face, so she probably knew, she could feel it. It's sometimes when we're communicating nowadays via email or text or whatever, it's kind of, you can't see a person's face or hear their voice to know what they're really thinking, so it makes it tough, I think, nowadays with technology. The advantage of not having the technology is you really have to look someone in the eye and look at their face and their mouth expressions and everything like that. So I'm just imagining he got a big grin on his face. So if it pleases the king, and then she launched into what she wanted, which was to have Haman and the king come to the banquet. Now, question is, why would she want Haman at the banquet? She knows he's about to kill her and her family and relatives and all the rest of the Jews, right? This is where we're really getting to the hard, spinning this circle here, spinning the wheel, moving it forward. So what I want you to take away is, would you ever say that to your, boss, husband, spouse, somebody who's superior over you on some particular project or whatever, if it pleases you, would you want to be humble, and kind, and really put yourself at the mercy of this person? And, if it pleases you, would you like, being really having to swallow your pride? Because remember, she did, obviously Haman's the bad guy here. She'd probably rather just, strangle him. But she can't. No, she has to do the process of being humble and being the queen. And the queen has to put all kind of personal issues and emotional stuff aside, and just hold it all in and straighten up your crown. Keep your shoulders back and straighten up your back and move forward, right? And that is probably so difficult. I can only imagine the weight of the world is on her shoulders right now. And she's having to be really, really, really strong and courageous. And so, if it pleases the king. Okay, we're going to cover more on that. But I just want you to think about that, especially, like I said, as we're going into our holiday season where there's families and, Thanksgiving and Christmas is, really tough for gatherings, and, a lot of emotional stuff comes out. I don't know why. My guess is that it's the cold weather. I don't know. Just seems like Satan's working on our brains overtime, to make us feel bad and doubt and discouragement and all kinds of stuff. So as we're going through this holiday season, maybe it's good to just be forgiving. Just say, if it pleases you, or how can I please you? What would you like? Even when it hurts, especially if that person, might have not been nice to you or whatever, and it could be a family member, could be a friend, could be coworkers, boss, whatever. Maybe they haven't been the most nicest person, but you have to be nice to them. So how do you do it? Try to imagine what Esther's doing, if it pleases the king, and really, we're going to be studying very closely on her words. So that's the first, point that I want you to get, is we're going to go over this next couple, going forward over the weeks, if it pleases the king. And just imagine her like this. So, okay, well, I hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving. I hope for anyone watching who's a veteran, I hope you had a great Veterans Weekend, safe, happy holiday. I thank you all for your service, and as we go to Thanksgiving, I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I hope that's also a very safe and happy holiday. Like I said, it could be high stress, seeing family members or, people that you might have to work with or whatever, and you're at the party or something. It's, I don't know what, Hallmark has made a whole thing about holiday movies, stress and drama. So, and it kind of, I don't know about you, sometimes I'm like, why do we have holidays? It's just stress and drama. I don't know. But instead, let's just think about just being loving and kind. And it's not worth ruining the family dinner over. So try to remember that too. And please be sensitive to everyone. And but I won't go on my soapbox other than I will pray for all of you. And I am thankful for you for watching my videos and so faithfully. So thank you so much. And I'm really honored to be able to do this for you. And I hope this helps. All right. Have a very, very happy Thanksgiving. All right. We'll see you next time.